He was just a salesman earning $3,000 a month, yet he deliberately walked into a high-end menswear store. Then, with astonishing expertise, he began meticulously examining the suits inside.
Might want to take an inch out of the back.
Okay. Wow! Off the charts, great.
His wife simply couldn't believe how perfectly the high-end suit fit her husband.
I'm gonna buy it.
But when the wife looked at the price tag, she said,
It's $2,400. Are you out of your mind? Come on, let's go.
She got those shoes.
The wife found it strange. Her husband, usually thrifty and frugal, was suddenly spending lavishly today. Little did she know the man before her was not her real husband at all. Just a few weeks earlier, Jack was a financial tycoon sitting on billions in assets, commuting daily in bespoke suits and luxury cars. Surrounding him weren't just enviable wealth figures, but also countless beautiful women gracing his presence. However, all of this was soon turned completely upside down. On Christmas Eve night, he unintentionally arrived at a grocery store. Right after a young man named Cash entered the store, claiming he possessed a winning lottery ticket worth $238. But the clerk didn't even look at it, firmly insisting Cash had altered the numbers the very next moment.
Check the ticket, stupid! Look at the ticket!
Jack stepped forward without hesitation, stating he was willing to buy the disputed lottery ticket. This proposal instantly diffused Cash's anger.
All right, come on, Jack, let's get out of here.
Strangely, Cash actually knew his name. Outside, Jack offered to help Cash find a stable job, but Cash instead asked Jack if he needed his help. This left Jack momentarily stunned. After all, as a billionaire, his life seemed flawless. He never imagined a day when he would need help from others. But Cash just burst out laughing.
You know, I'm gonna really enjoy this. You just remember that you did this, Jack, okay? You brought this on yourself.
Jack completely failed to grasp what Cash was saying. Yet he could never have dreamed that this seemingly unremarkable young man would utterly transform his entire life. Returning home, Jack fell asleep as usual. But when he woke the next day, he found himself lying in an unfamiliar bed with his first love from 13 years ago, Kate, beside him. Even more shocking, 2 children were calling him Dad. In a daze, Jack thought he was still dreaming. He hurriedly put on clothes and went outside, where the sight before him left him speechless. The bustling city had become a remote town. The luxury sports car had turned into a minivan. He then drove frantically, finally arriving at the building of his familiar home. But the security guard coldly stopped him, and the neighbor lady gave him unfamiliar gazes, as if they had never seen Jack before. The guard warned Jack not to cause trouble again, or they would call the police. With no other choice, Jack turned and headed to his company. But he discovered the lobby manager didn't recognize him either. Even the position of company's CEO had been taken by someone else. At that moment, Jack plunged completely into panic and confusion. He wandered the streets distraught, nearly getting hit by a speeding Ferrari. Jack looked closely. The person in the driver's seat was actually Cash from the night before. And this Ferrari was originally his own car.
Hi, Jack. You stole my car!
Cash revealed a meaningful smile. He told Jack no one is perfect and no one can have everything. He was letting Jack experience a different life, where he could find what he had once lost. It turned out that the glorious achievements Jack possessed now all stemmed from a crucial choice he made 13 years ago. Back then, as a young man seeking better opportunities, he resolutely chose to leave his first love, Kate. He intended to return and make up for this regret once he succeeded in his career. Yet 13 years passed in a flash. Jack had achieved his dream and become the richest man in New York City. But on that long and brilliant journey, he had long since forgotten about Kate. Then Cash handed Jack a bell.
Will you come whenever I ring it?
Now you gotta get out of the car, Jack.
After Jack got out of the car, Cash drove away. With no other options, Jack could only pin his hopes on the map in his hand and drive back to that small town. But he couldn't remember exactly which house it was. So he decided to stop the car and ask for directions. Coincidentally, the passerby he asked turned out to be his closest friend in this world, Arnie. In Arnie's mind, Jack was a true winner at life. He lived in a spacious and comfortable 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, had a pair of lively and adorable children, and a wife who was the envy of others. Arnie then took Jack home. Seeing Jack return, Kate rushed to embrace him excitedly. It turned out that in her search for Jack, Kate had contacted everyone who might know his whereabouts. She had even been so anxious she considered calling the police, fearing something terrible had happened to him. At this moment, Jack felt an unprecedented level of care and warmth. Nevertheless, Jack still wanted to explain the reason and the whole story to Kate.
And this is very strange because this isn't my house. Those aren't my kids. I'm not dad. I'm not a dad. You're not my wife.
You know what, Jack? It's not funny this time because I am really mad.
Seeing Kate didn't believe him, Jack took out the bell Cash had given him. The bell's sharp chime piqued his daughter Annie's interest. Her eyes sparkling, she thought it was a new toy meant for her. Jack had no choice but to accept this misunderstanding for now. Kate then reminded Jack about the Christmas dinner party that evening. Jack opened the wardrobe to pick out suitable clothes, but couldn't help frowning. The wardrobe was filled with cheap clothes, clearly unsuitable for the party's atmosphere. At that moment, Annie caught sight of Jack and immediately turned and fled. Deep down, she knew this man wasn't her real father. As night fell, Jack arrived at the party venue. An elegant woman carefully helped him change his coat, her every movement subtly revealing her attraction to him. The atmosphere at the party gradually warmed up, and when Jack's gaze fell upon Kate, a long-lost warmth quietly surged in his heart. Because for the past 13 years, Jack had spent Christmas alone. As the noise of the party faded away, Jack returned to the cozy home, where Kate had already thoughtfully prepared a comfortable set of pajamas for him. At this moment, he genuinely felt the warmth of home. Then Kate gracefully stepped into the room and turned on some music. The children were already deep in dreamland, and they welcomed a rare time alone together. And at this moment, Jack suddenly realized that even after 13 years, Kate's beauty hadn't diminished in the slightest.
You're really stunning. But this... You've really grown into a beautiful woman.
Look at me like you haven't seen me every day for the last 13 years.
Facing her husband's sudden compliment, Kate felt a bit startled, but an unspeakable joy surged within her. So she quietly slipped into the bathroom, hoping to surprise Jack with a fresh new look. But when she stepped out of the bathroom full of anticipation, she found Jack had fallen fast asleep. Kate didn't disturb him. She just gently tucked him in and then tenderly gave him a goodnight kiss. Their rare moment alone ended just like that, and Jack had actually pretended to be asleep on purpose because his heart was experiencing unprecedented turbulence and complexity. Waking up the next morning, Jack found no one beside him. He thought it was all over, but the clear cries of a child quickly pulled him back to reality. He clumsily changed the baby's diaper, his awkward movements once again drawing a look of surprise from his daughter.
You're not really my dad, are you?
No, I'm not.
Facing his daughter's puzzlement, Jack chose honesty. He spoke of his confusion and helplessness, and Annie, with her innocent childish logic, actually thought Jack was an alien.
Promise you won't kidnap me and my brother and plant stuff in our brains?
Sure.
Within this wonderful misunderstanding, a unique, unspoken bond formed between father and daughter, and Annie naturally became Jack's second friend in this world. Under Annie's guidance, Jack began adapting to the new routine. He dropped the little son off at daycare and took his daughter to winter camp. From his daughter, Jack learned he was actually a salesman at a tire shop, working 8 hours a day. At his workstation, photos of his family hung all around. In those pictures, he smiled brilliantly, as warm as sunshine. He didn't understand how he could smile so carefreely. In 1988, Jack had been honored as Employee of the Year. He recalled the other world, where he was still striving hard in London. It turned out that in this world, Jack's life path was completely different. He hadn't chosen to leave Kate, but had instead entered the marriage hall with her. Facing all this, Jack was filled with confusion. Why had this world's version of him chosen to waste his talent here instead of excelling in his career, like in the other world? He secretly wished that perhaps all this was just an elusive dream, and that one day he would wake up and everything would be back to normal. Yet day after day, a whole month passed, and this dream stubbornly refused to end. That day, the whole family went shopping, and Jack found himself drawn to a high-end menswear store. Stepping inside, he began trying on the exquisite suits. When he put on these familiar clothes, It felt like he had found his true self again. Kate followed him in and, seeing her husband in the high-end suit, couldn't help but admire how handsome he looked. Family finances required consideration. Kate persuaded Jack to take off the suit, promising a delicious cake as compensation.
No. Do you have any idea what my life is like?
Excuse me?
I wake up in the morning covered in dog saliva. I drop the kids off, spend 8 hours selling tires retail.
He was tired of the monotonous daily life. He didn't want to repeat those meaningless everyday chores anymore.
The same guy that I was when we got married.
You know what? Maybe you're not. Because the Jack Campbell I married would not need a $2,400 suit to feel better about his life. But I'm telling you, if that's what it's going to take, then buy it.
In the end, Jack took off the suit and accepted Kate's promise of cake. On the way home, tears of disappointment were barely concealed in Kate's eyes. And it was also at this time that Jack learned the reason they lived in the countryside was because Kate had gotten pregnant unexpectedly back then. And his father had also developed a serious heart condition. To be with Kate, this world's Jack had bravely shouldered all the responsibilities, which had bought them their current stable life. Kate felt deeply content and satisfied with this, but Jack's mood remained heavy. To release his frustration, Jack went bowling and once again ran into the graceful woman, Evelyn. Remembering their previous interaction, Jack asked if there was something between them. Evelyn admitted that she had purposely worn a sexy dress at the Christmas party to catch Jack's attention. She also revealed she had bought 6 sets of run-flat tires, and her child was in the same dance class as Jack's daughter. All this was to get closer to Jack. After saying this, she invited Jack to her house over the weekend. Hearing this, Jack couldn't help but smile to himself. It turned out that, in this world, he still possessed a unique charm. So he asked Arnie for Evelyn's home address, but unexpectedly received a scolding from Arnie.
There isn't a guy in Union County who wouldn't give his left nut to be with Kate, all right? She's amazing, and you're gonna fuck it up.
Jack couldn't understand why Arnie was so angry, until he returned home and his eyes fell on a videotape. Driven by curiosity, he pressed play. The tape showed the precious moment he proposed to Kate. It happened to be Kate's birthday that day. He had meticulously planned it, inviting the whole town to witness the moment, singing romantic love songs, creating an incredibly warm atmosphere. Watching the scenes on the tape, Jack's eyes welled up. All this should have happened in his world too. Yet he had personally abandoned the most important person, letting happiness slip through his fingers. Sitting in the empty living room, Jack sank into deep thought. The next day, Jack's attitude towards his current life shifted. He began enjoying being woken by the dog licking his face, then sleepily heating milk for the children. When he finished his chores and returned to the bedroom, he found Kate had been waiting, holding a huge gift box. Opening it, inside was a carefully arranged brand-name suit. Though a replica, it still looked incredibly handsome on Jack. It turned out today was their wedding anniversary. Kate closed her eyes, full of expectation, and asked Jack for her gift. But Jack had no idea about this. He froze. Kate's expression shifted from anticipation to disappointment. Seeing Kate's dejected look, an inexplicable pain surged in Jack's heart. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Why not take Kate into the city for a wonderful time? This was a place familiar to him. But for Kate, it was a place she had dreamed of yet never set foot in. Jack expertly ordered the food. Then they danced gracefully to the melodious piano music, all fatigue and unhappiness vanishing in that moment. After the dance, Jack asked Kate affectionately if she had ever wondered what their lives would be like now if they hadn't stayed together back then.
I think about it too. I do. What are you sure about?
I'm sure that right now, there's nowhere else I'd rather be than here with you.
Kate laughed upon hearing this. Although Jack had been a bit unusual these past days, his love for her had never changed. They spent a romantic night at the hotel, like newly in love sweethearts. From then on, Jack's worldview quietly transformed. The little annoyances of daily life that once gave him headaches, like the occasional discordant notes from his daughter's violin practice, now became heartwarming melodies in his heart. He no longer chased the vanity of brand-name suits, instead learning to draw endless happiness and fulfillment from the ordinary moments spent with his family. every morning before work, he would share a deep embrace and kiss with his wife. This kiss, like morning dew, infused his day with boundless energy and warmth. And fate seemed to quietly lay a new path for Jack at this moment. On a seemingly ordinary day, he unexpectedly encountered Lassiter, the boss from his company, in the other world. Lassiter's car had a flat tire, and Jack quickly seized the chance to approach him. He was already intimately familiar with the company's operational style and Lassiter's temperament, allowing him to pinpoint the company's current problems and future investment directions and potential with sharp accuracy. The professionalism and precision evident in his words and demeanor quickly won Lassiter's favor and admiration. Lassiter decided on the spot to take Jack back to the company for an interview. Here, Jack unexpectedly encountered Alan, his former subordinate, who now held the position Jack once occupied. As a former financial titan, Jack quickly impressed them both with his talent and extraordinary charisma.
I can do this job. I can. Give me a chance, Peter. I won't let you down.
Alan, why don't you show Jack around?
But Alan felt threatened, his words revealing barely concealed hostility towards Jack. Despite this, Jack smoothly secured the job, and the company even generously provided him with accommodation. When Kate walked into this magnificent mansion, she felt as though she had stepped into a hall of art. Jack explained his new job to his wife, promising them a carefree life ahead. Surprisingly, Kate didn't show much joy. She feared that excessive material comfort would erode their inner world, binding their hearts tightly with money and possessions. Truthfully, Kate's wish was simple. She didn't seek wealth and glory, only hoping Jack would stay by her side. Jack was puzzled by Kate's reaction. In his view, they had found the golden key to unlock success, yet Kate seemed to want to block the lock itself.
Don't go get a new career without even telling me about it. And don't take Annie out of a school that she loves, and don't move us out of a house we've become a family in.
Jack couldn't help but wonder why Kate hesitated at the threshold when the door to success swung open. Just then, Jack accidentally discovered an airline ticket. It turned out that in this world, Jack had also once boarded a plane to leave Kate, but returned the very next day. Kate vividly remembered that moment. Jack's eyes had been full of determination, as he told her he'd decided to stay. It was this resolve that made Kate willing to give everything for Jack, even if it meant making significant sacrifices.
I will take these kids from a life they love, and I'll take myself from the only home we've ever shared together, and I'll move wherever you need to go. I'll do that because I love you. I love you.
Kate ultimately left the decision in Jack's hands. The next morning, when Kate awoke from her dreams, she saw Jack happily playing with their daughter. At that moment, Kate had her answer. She understood Jack's choice. Yet fate is always full of unpredictable twists. Jack had regained everything he once lost in this world, but this happiness was fleeting, like a meteor streaking across the night sky. A sudden ringing sound made Jack's heart tighten. He seemed to sense impending misfortune. Sure enough, when he went shopping at the supermarket again, the mysterious Cash appeared. Cash didn't speak, busy giving customers their change, but this time he deliberately gave one extra bill. The girl noticed but chose to remain silent.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Only after the girl left the store did Cash's face reveal a hint of unconcealed disappointment. Jack then shouted that he didn't want to go back, but Cash seemed to pretend not to hear.
A glimpse, by definition, is an impermanent thing, Jack.
With no other choice, Jack could only turn and leave. Back at home, Jack gently stroked his son's hair and placed a goodnight kiss on his daughter's forehead. Although he had only stayed in this world for a few months, everything here was deeply etched in his heart.
I need you to remember me, Kate. How I am right now. At this very moment. I need you to put that image in your heart and keep it there.
I promise.
Jack then stepped outside. Snow was falling heavily, and he wished with all his heart that this could last forever, even if it was just an illusionary dream. Back inside, Kate was already deep asleep, while Jack sat alone on the sofa, trying to fight off the overwhelming drowsiness with sheer willpower. But the fatigue surged like a tide. In the end, Jack couldn't resist its pull and slowly closed his eyes. When Jack woke up again, he found himself back in that familiar world. Kate was no longer by his side. The children's laughter was gone. The entire room felt empty. Today was still Christmas. Everything before truly felt like a dream, filled with longing and reluctance for all he had lost. Jack drove to that once warm home. Yet when he arrived, he was met by an unfamiliar face. The Kate he spoke of did not live here. On the way back, Jack's phone suddenly rang. A call from his company abruptly pulled him from his personal thoughts. With no other choice, he had to return to the office to handle matters first. The Jack now was not the vibrant man he used to be. Extreme physical and mental exhaustion had taken its place. However, Jack did not give up on finding Kate. He used his extensive network of contacts, and after some effort, he finally learned Kate's current address. Carrying anxiety and anticipation, he found the girl who had haunted his thoughts. In this world, Kate had become a successful lawyer and owned her own law firm. But regrettably, she was about to move to Paris with her firm. When Jack learned Kate was still single, a faint sense of secret delight stirred within him. Summoning his courage, he invited Kate for coffee, but Kate did not directly respond. Instead, she found a box on her own. It contained items she had kept for Jack all these years, and she felt it was time to return them. Looking at these items, Jack felt a tumult of emotions. He tried to persuade Kate to stay.
Do you ever think about us, Kate? About what might have happened?
This sudden question surprised Kate. After a brief silence, she politely declined Jack's invitation. Hearing Kate's answer, an inexplicable sense of loss washed over Jack. But he understood forcing things wasn't wise. Perhaps letting go was the best choice. After returning home, Jack pulled out a bottle of perfume from the box. Its familiar, subtle scent magically pulled his thoughts back to those beautiful times with Kate 13 years ago. And those precious photos, each one like a mark of time, reminded Jack of their university days together. At this moment, he decided to cast everything aside and fight for one more chance, no matter what. He floored the accelerator, racing to the airport at top speed, his resolve firmer than ever before. And God favored him once more, in the very last moment, before Kate entered the boarding area.
And when she smiles, and Josh, we've dealt with our share of surprises and made a lot of sacrifices, but we stayed together. And it made me a better person to be around you. And if you get on that plane right now, I know we could both go on with our lives, and we'd both be fine. But I've seen what we could be like together. And I choose us.
Perhaps Jack's dreamlike story awakened beautiful memories buried deep in Kate's heart. Or perhaps the fragments of life revealed in his words coincidentally matched the ideal life picture Kate had once envisioned. Only at this instant did Kate wake as if from a dream. She realized that choosing to remain alone all these years might have been because deep down, she couldn't bear to part with that pure feeling, and had silently held on to it. After 13 years, their life paths crossed unexpectedly once more. As for whether they ended up together in the end, no one knows. But one thing is certain, life has no what-ifs, nor can it be redone. Every choice made at a crucial moment can lead us towards a completely different future. Do you crave a life of influence and power, or one that is ordinary but real? Do you seek glory and success, or the warmth of a family gathered close? But in fact, we can only choose one, forever admiring the other kind of life from afar. Therefore, cherishing and holding on to what we have right now is what we should most steadfastly pursue. Just as Jack and Kate expressed in the movie, "I want us together."